We've got Jen Caltrider with us today. She's with Mozilla. So Jen, why don't you give us a little bit of background about you and how you fit into this puzzle, and then let's talk about privacy and these maybe creepy gifts that actually people don't know what's going on with them.
Right. Mozilla is most well known for the browser Firefox, but one of the other things that Mozilla does is try to make the internet better for everybody out there. And so that's my job, basically. I get to try and make the internet better for people out there. And one of the ways I do that is I create a buyer's guide called Privacy Not Included. This year is the 4th year that we've put out this buyer's guide. We put it out in November ahead of the holiday shopping season, so that people can go and do their research before they buy connected devices for themselves or their friends and family, to make sure they're getting ones that are not creepy, as opposed to some of the ones that are pretty creepy out there on the market.
So what are the top, I mean, some people care about privacy, some people don't. What do you consider as, quote, creepy?
Yeah, everybody's going to have a different creep factor. I mean, mine is, I have smart speakers in my home. I wear a fitness watch. I carry my phone with me everywhere, and don't always, make sure I turn off the camera, put a camera cover over the camera on my computer, so I'm not probably, the most privacy conscious person out there, but I am aware. And so I think creepy is what somebody decides what's creepy, and what we're just asking is, hey, think about that. Facebook is a company that has a reputation of collecting as much data as they can get on you as possible, and using it in questionably ethical ways. Do you want to give your money to Facebook or Apple, a company that, has better privacy practices and does try and listen to its users and take them into consideration when they think about privacy?
Right. You are Facebook's product. Okay. So the more they know about you, the more they sell, the more money they make. And so every time you post a birthday or an anniversary, guess what? They now know that about you. And it leads to not only them targeting advertising to you, but people know a lot about your personal affairs. And some people don't care, some do. But let's talk about this, how it relates to Christmas gifts. So tell us some of the top creepy Christmas gift items.
Yeah, so the creepiest ones, and people always want to start with the creepiest ones. It's funny. We were just talking about Facebook, and Facebook makes what they call the Facebook portal, which is a home hub. It's a video, audio device that you can use to talk with grandma or whoever, which is popular now during the pandemic. Facebook makes them, Google makes a similar product. Amazon makes a similar product. I personally would never put the Facebook portal in my house because, Facebook is a company with a really bad track record of collecting my data and using my data in ways that I don't like. And so that one rates pretty creepy for me. It rates pretty creepy for our users on the buyer's guide too, because users can rate how creepy they think things are, and the Facebook portal gets rated pretty creepy.
Well, and the Facebook portal is sitting there listening all the time. I mean, it's visual, it's got cameras, it's got open audio. It creeps me out.
It's got AI in its cameras too, so it can track you and follow you around when you're talking, and that's a little weird for sure.
It's seeing into your home, Yeah. All right, keep going. So what else?
I was just going to say another product that I think is pretty creepy is Amazon has moved into the fitness tracker market, and they put out their Amazon Halo this year. And I was in the market for a fitness tracker this year earlier this year, and I did my research, and I looked at all the companies. I know that these fitness trackers collect a lot of data, right? They used to just collect your steps and your heart rate, and now they can tell your stress and how you're sleeping and all kinds of crazy stuff. So I wanted one that had a company that did a good job protecting my data. I went with a Garmin. Amazon came out with a Halo, and it's a really interesting product. It doesn't have an interface. It's just a band that you strap on your wrist that has a bunch of sensors and microphones in it. And the things that really creep me out about it, and Amazon says, hey, we take your privacy seriously, and users can choose to trust them on that or not. But a couple of things they ask you, they want to track your body composition, so they ask you to take pictures of yourself in your underwear and upload them to Amazon, so they can do that. And that creeps me out. I mean, me taking pictures of myself in my underwear and uploading them to Amazon, no, that creeps me out.
Who owns that image? Because you sent it to them and gave it to them, they now own that image. It's no longer your property, right?
Well, they say that once they have processed it, it gets deleted. But, you know, what does processing it mean? And you know, it's, and we also know that things don't always get deleted when they're say they're deleted. The thing that creeps me out even more than the giving Amazon pictures of myself in my underwear is there's microphones on this that are listening, and they say they're designed to listen to kind of tone police you. So at the end of the day, you can look at your app and be like, oh, during this conversation that I was having, you know, with my boss, I was grumpy or I was anxious, and then it can tell you that and tone police you a little bit. And I don't know, I don't know what the demand is in the market for this. You know, the Amazon said we really need to create a tone policing fitness tracker. It kind of raises a little bit of a flag for me that maybe they're doing that to collect some other information about people. But also, who decides that Amazon gets to be the tone police, right? You know, like, do they have a track record as a company that I would trust to tone police me? And so that one really kind of freaks me out a little bit, and is another one that I wouldn't have.
Okay, so both of these are basically getting as much information about you as they can. They want to own your pipeline. They want to own from your social to your health to your photographs. All right, who else? What else? Anything else you want to share?
Yeah, well, if we're still on the creepy ones, the third creepy one that I would include would be the Roku. And a lot of people have either Roku connected TVs or Roku streaming sticks that they buy. And a lot of people might not know that Roku is happy to sell you a streaming stick or a sound bar that will make turn your computer into your TV into a great streaming TV. But what Roku won't tell you, well, they have admitted this publicly, but they don't do it in their marketing, is that they want you to use their streaming devices so they can then collect as much data about you as possible and sell that. And their privacy policy, the privacy researcher that I worked with read the privacy policy and just described it as a nightmare, because every device that you put anything Roku on, they're going to track you as much as they can, whether it's your TV, whether it's your phone. They try and collect as much information about you as possible, about your viewing habits, about what you're doing. And it really is, you are the product with a Roku, even though you're giving them your money to get their streaming sticks. So that's a third one that I wouldn't probably ever have in my house.
Do you have any in the kid category that are just ultra creepy? Connected dolls, connected, you know, any of those? Curious.
Yeah, well, I don't have kids myself, but if I did, I think there are two products that I would not probably consider. One is fitness trackers for kids. Both Fitbit and Garmin make fitness trackers for kids as young as 4. And that just seems weird to me. I, as an adult, you know, finally made the decision to get a fitness tracker because I wanted to know data about myself. But teaching a 4-year-old that it's okay to track, you know, everything, whether they did their chores on time and whether they slept okay and whether they moved enough steps or whether they're stressed, I don't know. It just doesn't seem like something we should be teaching kids that young, that it's okay for them to be tracked all the time. And that's my personal opinion. Parents are going to have their own opinions on that. That's my personal opinion. The other thing that I found kind of creepy, and this is, I think, going to be a growing trend, is there's a product in our guide that we reviewed called the Kids Craft Alexa connected kitchen. And it's a wooden kitchen set. It costs a few $100s. And you get it and you set it up, and it's got a, you know, place to cook and a place to scan groceries and all this stuff. And the way it works is they ask you to buy separately an Amazon Alexa, and you set it up, and then your kid plays in the kitchen basically with Alexa. And that could be okay. The things that concern me are, you know, Alexa Skills, the little program that Alexa would use to play with your kid, doesn't have to have the same kind of privacy policy transparency that like, say, a device would. And so we don't, you know, what data are they collecting on your kid? Amazon says skills targeted kids can't collect a lot of data, but do we know that for sure? But also, and this is what gets me, and again goes to, is this what we really want to be teaching our kids? You know, the kitchen has a little built-in scanner thing, you know, with, like, you know, you can scan products and it'll beep. And just get a kick out of thinking, man, Amazon wants Alexa to teach your kids how to shop at age 8. What a brilliant business move for Amazon's part, right? Like, they're teaching you, and they're having Alexa teach you.
They're training you to shop at Amazon. That's what they're doing. Amazon.
I know, at age 8. Yeah,
they start indoctrination very young, don't they?
It feels like that.
So what do you say to the parent who says, I don't care, or the, shopper, I don't care who's tracking me? I mean, why is that important? I mean, if it's just for advertisements, it makes it more convenient. That's the response I get sometimes. Some people care, some don't. What's your thoughts on that? Or what do you hear from your user base?
Yeah, I mean, and I'm going to guess you and I are similar. Like, I have connected products. I understand the risks, and I kind of sometimes say, what's the worst that could happen? The problem becomes we keep saying that. And so companies keep grabbing more and more data. Amazon is at the point now where they're listening to your tone. There are also companies that have patents out there that can monitor your face and see what your emotional reaction is and say, oh, this person's sad. I need to market them chocolate bars right in the next 30 seconds. And so it's this slippery slope of, okay, maybe right now, nothing as bad is going to happen, but there's going to come a tipping point where companies have so much information about us. They know us better than ourselves. And that data can be used it's already being used for questionably ethical purposes. We've seen it in elections, and we've seen it in advertising, targeting, women that have had miscarriages with baby things that, really do a lot of psychological damage. And so, yes, most of the time everything's going to be fine, but we're on a slippery slope, and we just need to be aware of that. And all I ask is the maker of Privacy Not Included and Mozilla asks is just consider before you buy. If you have a choice between buying a product from a company that has a good record of protecting your data and one that doesn't, support the company that's doing good. And that way we'll force companies to be a little better.
Right. So people have to remember the way that, Google, they have great services, but they aren't free. Okay? All right. So you've got Google, you've got Facebook, you've got Amazon. Google and Facebook, clearly that's how they make money, is by targeting ads. That's what they are. The more they know about you, the more money they make. Okay. So you are their product. On, Apple, I guess Amazon has another revenue source because they sell product, but they're learning all about you every single time you buy a product. They're learning about you. And then Apple, on the other hand, is, I would call, probably the most secure. Would you agree with that? Or the most privacy conscious? What would you say about that?
Of the big tech companies, for sure, Apple is the one that's doing the best. You mentioned Facebook and Amazon and Google, and you can throw Microsoft in there too. I would say that Apple is at the top. Microsoft also does a decent job with privacy, because like you said, Apple's not trying to sell a bunch of, target you with ads, whereas Facebook and Amazon and Google, they are trying to target you. And that's a good thing to be aware of. Interestingly, there are other companies, Jabra makes headphones.
Oh, they make
and they don't want to
I love their headphones.
Yeah, they make great headphones, and they also are kind of old school as a company that makes headphones. Their goal is to sell you headphones. Their goal isn't to sell you headphones that then track you, that give them a lot of data that they can turn around to sell. And that's kind of refreshing to see. It's kind of the anti-Roku. And so there are companies out there that kind of fall outside the big five that are doing some really good stuff, and there are some that are doing some really bad stuff. Smaller companies that make a lot of the pet products tend to not have the kind of privacy and security chops that a Google would. So you get things that maybe are a little less secure, maybe haven't thought through their privacy policies as well, haven't designed things so that it's user-friendly to access.
All right. Any more tips that you'd like to share?
I think the biggest tip is just think about it, and also if you're thinking of buying something that's connected and can spy on something for people, have a conversation with them before you buy. Or if you give it to them on Christmas and they seem excited, say, oh, and there's ways to set this up so it protects your privacy. Our website is a great place to go and look for that, or just Google it. Thanks, Google. Just Google it. But do consider privacy when you get connected.
DuckDuckGo it.
DuckDuckGo it, for sure.
So we talk about browsers and DuckDuckGo and all those that you can use to keep yourself private. When you're going outside of those kind of tools and blocking your network and so forth, but you've still got things, cameras in your house, you got to be careful of those things. So, and the more that people get used to it, it's that slippery slope you're talking about. They become comfortable in their house, their kids, to them, it's normal. So, gotta be careful, be wise, think about it.
Those are great tips. Yes.
All right. Very good. All right. Have a wonderful Christmas and a happy holiday season. And thanks for all your great tips there, Jen. Appreciate your time.
All right. Thank you. Have a good day.
Thank you. All right. Well, I'll stop recording there, but